All right, so we are here at WOIO 19 with Chris Van Vliet, host of The Buzz on 19 Action News. Chris, thanks for having us. Thanks for joining us.
Steve, thank you for having me on. It's like we're in front of the queue right now. Look at that.
It is, you know, and based upon the play of the Cavs last year, it's probably about standard of quality of who's going to show up to it. I don't know.
Yeah, there's like 4 people down there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I couldn't be at Liquid 6. I'd like to be.
You know, it's okay.
You got a good thing going there.
Appreciate that. Chris has been on 19 Action News doing The Buzz for, what, a little over 2 years now?
Yeah. I got here March of 2010.
Yeah. How are you loving Cleveland so far?
It's been great. I mean, you know, I'm from Toronto.
Right.
And in Toronto, the Maple Leafs are about as bad as all of the sports teams here.
Yeah.
So I was prepared for that.
Well, who's crazier, the Maple Leaf fans or the Browns fans?
Well, I mean, you got a big difference there because of the tailgating aspect.
Right. No tailgating in Toronto, huh?
No tailgating in Canada, really. I mean, they take the open alcohol laws very seriously there. I mean, we all know that what we do in the Muni lot is, you know, to the letter of the law, illegal.
Sure, absolutely. They have signs posted
yes.
that says that now.
And people just drink in front of the signs. It's fine. We all understand that. But in Canada, it doesn't go that way. It's like if you have anything that might resemble alcohol in public, you're getting arrested. Or at least a ticket for drinking, and then they make you pour it out.
The home of Labatt Blue and Molson's does not want you drinking in public.
No, you gotta be take it to a bar or take it to your house, or that's really it.
That's insane.
So with that all said, Browns fans by far.
Yeah.
I mean, there's certainly, with everything that's happened with the team, all the losses and the team leaving and everything, there's some fuel to that fire.
It's a lot of fuel to the fire.
Yeah.
Lifelong
Clevelander, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was at the 1964 championship game.
Who wasn't?
Even though I wasn't born, but you know, I think I saw you there too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the only thing that we have going for us though is, you know, as a Canadian, you know, there was Vancouver.
Yeah.
A couple years back, they didn't have such a bright spot after the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, the riots.
The riots.
I used to live in Vancouver. I lived there for a year, and I'm looking at these helicopter shots of these riots, and I'm like, that's like a block from where I lived. It was really embarrassing.
Yeah.
Really embarrassing.
Honestly, that's the one proud thing that I think we can say is even after the '97 World Series, when we lose it in Game 7 and extra innings, nobody rioted. It was pretty safe.
Yeah. Although if the Browns or
Indians
or Cavs win,
if they win, it all goes out the window.
Yeah.
The losing we can handle. It's so ingrained.
There's been so much of it.
It's the winning we won't know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that becomes a problem.
Go overboard from there.
Have you taken it upon yourself to kind of immerse yourself into the Cleveland culture? Like what have you done that you can, you know, kind of become more of a Clevelander?
Well, I mean, I've been to several Browns losses.
Well, I mean,
so,
that's a great start right there. That's your foot in the door.
You know, I've been to the Rock Hall several times. That's always Cleveland-like.
You know, it is. Well, I got to be honest. I think it's more Cleveland-like to say that you've never been in the Rock Hall. But it's a great thing.
I've eaten at Slyman's and Mel's.
There you go.
I mean,
have you done Lolly the Trolley?
Of course, yeah. I mean, what is the thing that once you do it, once you move here, you know that you have become a Clevelander?
I mean, you gotta have a panini sandwich.
Okay, all right.
Done that?
Yeah.
You should probably know all of the local brews.
Yeah. Okay.
You know?
Oh, I mean, I have been there on opening night for Christmas Ale.
There you go. That's a big deal.
Yeah, that's it.
Have you tried Thirsty Dog from down in Akron?
Of course, yeah.
You know, I think you're hitting all the right spots.
I'm officially a Clevelander after 2.5 years.
The only thing that you're missing out on, and you're not going to be able to get this, is to be able to say, remember when we used to go to Geauga Lake and SeaWorld?
I've heard about that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's very sad.
Or I think the other one is, oh man, the flats used to be so great.
The flats used to be so great.
Yeah.
They did. Have you...
I've heard that story.
Have you had a run-in with some sort of douchebag on West 6th Street?
Oh, weekly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, you're right up there then.
Yeah, like, you know, for the most part, I know that not everyone, you know, watches Channel 19 or, you know, maybe not everyone likes Channel 19. That's understandable. That's fine. But the comments I usually get in public are at least nice. But then you go to West 6th Street and, you know, it all changes.
Absolutely.
And, you know, you get a lot of, "There's that douchebag from Channel 19. I'm looking around like, they can't be talking about me. No, clearly they're talking about me. And you're just, "Oh, hey, how are you?"
You're like, what's up, man?
I'm glad you're watching, you know.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about what you do at 19. The Buzz, you're the entertainment reporter.
Right.
We just talked a little bit before this all was going, even though Chad, our camera guy, had it rolling. You know, you always wanted to interview The Rock. Was there, and that was a hilarious story, but are there any other kind of interviews that you kind of were starstruck on, or somebody huge that you were like, man, I can't believe I'm sitting here right now with that person?
The way you see these interviews, like when you fly to like LA or New York for these junket style interviews, they call them, the way you see them on TV make them look so much more glamorous than they really are. You're sitting in 2 chairs, you go to a hotel, and you see the film the night before, and then the next day it's like you and like 70 other journalists. And you're in a hotel, and you just stand in a line in a hotel room hallway, just waiting for your turn. And then you go in, and there's 2 chairs in the room, they're like 8 feet away from each other. It's so uncomfortable to be that far and trying to have like a, you know, an intimate conversation about the movie. You also have 4 minutes, and there's someone like giving you time cues and telling you to wrap up.
It's kind of like going through IKEA and trying to check out all the furniture.
At least IKEA has like the arrows on the ground
That's
you can
true.
follow.
That's true, yeah.
So you're going in there and you know they've done 20, 30, 40, 50 interviews already that day. And you're just trying desperately to give them something new.
You want to ask them not the same question.
You're trying really hard. So you don't get starstruck, but you certainly get nervous because you're like, all right, they've already done 40 of these, 50 of these. What am I going to do is try to make this different.
Yeah.
Oftentimes I'll ask about other films that they've done. Like you can look online, I interviewed Anne Hathaway for her movie One Day, and it was the day after the first photos of her as Catwoman came out. So I'm like, perfect. Got to ask her about this.
Right.
So, you know, asking about her movie that was like fine, like a love story movie. And then at the end, I'm like, well, fans are really excited about this. The first photos of you, you know, dressed as Catwoman came out. She's like, oh, yeah, yeah. And I mean, if you've seen those pictures, she's like in this extremely skin-tight suit, right?
Yeah, she did a good job on the Catwoman.
Yeah, she did, yeah. So I said, how much weight did you lose to squeeze into that outfit? And apparently this wasn't a good question to ask her.
No, she has, man.
She took it in stride, and you know.
You gotta be up on these things. She's one of those, everybody harasses her about the whole weight back and forth thing.
Well, I mean, but you know, you always hear these stories about like Taylor Lautner gained 30 pounds for Twilight, or Renee Zellweger, you know, gained all this weight for, you know, Bridget Jones. You know, and the list goes on and on. Christian Bale lost all that weight for The Machinist, and then gained it back for Batman. Yeah. You know, these are just normal questions to ask. I wouldn't ask a woman on the street, hey, you know, how much weight did you lose or gain? Yeah. But, you know, it's fair game when it's someone like her.
Yeah, but she didn't think so.
She took it in stride, and, you know, she had this, you know, exasperated look on her face, and she's like, what a forward young man you are! And then...
I like that she called you a young man.
Yeah, even though we're like the same age.
Yeah.
And then I was like, immediately I apologized, and then she's like, I'm just screwing with you at the end. It was all fine. I put it up online. It has like 250,000 views.
So she was fun, at least.
And almost everyone's like, I can't believe that guy asked that question. Like, that guy's an idiot. And it's like, yeah, I guess if you don't know the whole situation, I look like an idiot.
Yeah, well, I will say, I was sitting at the Ohio Hip Hop Awards this past weekend, and the 2 presenters, at one point you could tell the guy was kind of into the female presenter. But he says to her that she has big legs. I thought, you can tell a girl she has long legs. But I don't think that big legs is kind of the right key. But he just kept going with it. And
what did she say?
She was just like, oh, thanks, you know, you're sweet. And whatever. Like,
she's probably thinking, he just called me like Quadzilla here.
I think, and then he told her that she had, it looked like she had really strong calves or something. Like, he just kept rolling. I was like, this is out of hand. Like, I don't understand that. You know, put it on the Twitter. It's a good time.
That's not that's probably not.
No.
He probably learned his lesson there, like I did with Anne Hathaway.
Speaking of Twitter, you're pretty active as far as Twitter goes. Do you feel like you get a lot of good responses from Cleveland people, or do you get more like the douchebags harassing you?
No, I mean, for the most part, it's really positive. And you know, the cool thing about us in broadcasting in this day and age is you get an immediate reaction.
Yeah.
If I go on the air and do something good or funny, immediately, by the time I get back to my desk and I look at my phone, you've got all these tweets.
That's
And
awesome.
you know, the exact opposite as well. If you mispronounce something or you know, give your opinion and people don't like it, immediately
Right.
people are giving you feedback. And I love that. You know, in no other day and age in broadcasting have you ever had that immediate contact.
Tom Brokaw and Dan Rather would freak out if they had a
I mean,
Twitter.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, back in that day, you'd get a letter like 3 days later, and you'd be like, I don't remember.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
remember saying that.
I don't
That's
say that
fine.
at all.
Yeah.
Or
Oh well.
Ron Burgundy with the Twitter would be an amazing thing.
If Ron Burgundy had Twitter.
Speaking of mispronouncing, this is one of my favorite parts of your website. At the very bottom of the main page, Chris has a whole explanation on how to say his name.
I mean, it's not hard. Chris Van Vliet to say is easy, but you know, whoever came over here from Holland, like decades and generations ago, it's Vliet. So everyone tries to put like this French, like Villet or Villet.
Right.
And
Chris Van Vliet.
it's bad. I mean, in my entire life, it's been mispronounced, from teachers reading the attendance list to awards and to sports that I played. So it's kind of one of those. All right, here's my name.
Yeah.
If you're going to take the time to at least visit my website, you can at least leave knowing how to pronounce my name.
Yeah.
But with that said, I'll have so many people. Even just I was at the Muni lot over the weekend. Van Vliet is a really popular one. Van Vliet for some reason.
No, that
So
one.
sometimes on air, I'll be like, I'll sign off. I'll say, I'm Chris Van Vliet, and that is the buzz. So that people can be like, oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah,
if I
absolutely.
ever see him, at least I'll know how to say his name.
I can relate slightly to it, even though my last name
You have a
is...
great TV name.
And my last name is significantly easier than that. But how many times when I say my name to people, they'll be like, they just kind of look at me, and like, how do you spell that? I'm like, G-U-Y, like I'm a guy, I've heard gooey, I've heard gooey, people try to put the French spin on it.
Guy,
I'm
yeah.
like, it's just guy, like that's it. That's all there is. People are like, is it G-U-I? Is it G-I-E? I'm like, I don't even know
Yeah.
where these come from. So, I mean, it's there.
Like early on in my career, I gave it, like a minute's worth of thought.
Yeah.
Like, should I have a stage name? And there are people within this building that have,
Sure.
stage name or stage spelling for their name. And I thought about it, and then I thought, if this career actually does take off, my parents and family will be really upset. That I'm Chris, whatever my last name would be.
Right.
But I would just, when my ancestors came over here, there are other Van Vliets that are now V-L-E-E-T, or Van Fleet with an F, which would be so much easier. I don't know why they messed this one up. But
you gotta go the double V, because then you'd have to be Fan Fleet.
ah, true. I
That
can't
might be
be
rough.
CVV, yeah.
You'd have to be like
CVF,
Yeah.
Doesn't-
No,
Isn't really
change
right.
the other one to an F, so you could be CFF, be fan fleet. Sounds like
spitting everywhere.
yeah, that sounds. You're a big wrestling fan. I don't know if you know, but it's pretty big in Cleveland.
Hmm.
Always at the Q.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit about it before. You've been to WrestleMania a couple times. I've been a couple times. The Rock was your favorite, but any fun? I mean, you got to share like a fun wrestling moment. This is gonna be for all the nerds that love
Yeah.
wrestling that I know. So the fact that I'm gonna be talking wrestling with somebody on my show, they're gonna love it.
Everyone else just hit mute right now.
They did.
It's not going to make any sense to you. I wanted to be a wrestler growing up.
Yeah.
I always, I had the dream to be a broadcaster, but around 16, 17 years old, me and my buddies, I was on the wrestling team at school, and I wanted to do it. And I chased after this dream. I went to wrestling school for a couple of years.
Really?
I went to wrestling school with, people that are now wrestling. I went to a wrestling school in Cambridge, Ontario, and the coach, the trainer, was Showtime Eric Young. You
Okay.
know from TNA Wrestling.
Yeah.
So I'm there. He's like, I can't let you in the ring, without you signing up and signing a waiver, but I can let you watch the practice. I'm thinking, this is awesome, sure. So I'm in there watching, and Eric's going through the moves, and we're like 20 minutes in, and this guy takes a move wrong and breaks his arm in the ring in front of me. And his arm's like laying like this, and Eric comes over to me, he's like, dude, this doesn't happen often. This doesn't happen often. And then I actually interviewed him a couple months ago. And I'm like, do you remember that guy that broke his arm? He's like, oh yeah. I'm like, I was there. He's like, you were? Yeah, I remember that. So I wanted to chase after this dream, and money's so tight when you're in college.
Absolutely.
I bought a car with the sole intention that I was going to drive from my college town to wrestling school. It was an hour each way, 4 days a week, you know, all that gas money plus $250 a month to do it. I just couldn't make it work. So I had to give up on that, and which, you know, really worked out because now I can, you know, really focus on what I wanted to do,
right?
Which is this. And things have been going well, and still I get the element of wrestling because just last month I was at Nautica Pavilion, Prime Wrestling.
That's right.
I was the ring announcer.
How cool was that, though?
It was awesome. I got a little too close to the action. I got a chair to the face.
Did you?
I did. And
how'd
like,
that feel for you?
well, I mean, it was a plastic chair, so, but, you know, I took it. I had a bump on my head.
Look, man, when I was a kid, we knew with drywall, one side breaks easy, one side doesn't. There were plenty of times where I had some drywall to the ribs and it was the wrong side. That was the biggest thing with my youngest brother. It was like, no, you can't do this because you don't understand the two-sided thing. We finally let him, and it never failed. He always cracked me in the ribs with the wrong side. I mean, we did the whole, you know, like little metal trash cans to the head. It's a great time. If you're going to be involved in it, you have to take a shot.
Oh, I mean, that was pretty much the agreement. I'm like, I'll be the ring announcer, but, you know,
I want to get hit.
What can I do?
Yeah.
And I showed up to the event wearing, like, you know, workout gear so I could at least run the ropes and pretend like I was a wrestler again. It was awesome.
You want to be like a ringside announcer at some point, maybe?
I mean, I did a little bit in Canada, and like I would do the ring announcing. I wouldn't do the commentary.
Ah, okay.
I mean, especially in this day and age, you need those people that are like, they were a pro in that sport.
Yeah, sure.
I would love to, but...
Like Jerry Lawler, I don't know if you ever met him.
I have met him. I met him at Progressive Field.
He threw out the first pitch.
Yeah, he was just walking around.
Yeah, I mean, he does a great job. He had his heart attack recently, but
yeah.
You know, he's also a big, obviously now, you know, Cleveland sports fan.
Absolutely.
Jerry loves it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You were the 2011 Cosmo Magazine's Bachelor of the Year.
Right.
How did you even get involved in that?
Well, I mean...
I didn't even know they had such a thing.
I mean, they don't announce the next winner till like next month, so I still am
so
currently.
You were still it.
I still am the guy. That was really weird how that all came about. I'd heard that they had done this thing, and the guy from the year before was from Cleveland.
Okay.
And someone here at work submitted me without me knowing.
Oh, that's always good.
So I was at an airport waiting to connect for a flight to do some interviews, and I had this message from someone. They're like, hey, congratulations. They were calling from Cosmo. Congratulations. You're the Ohio Bachelor. You know, you were submitted by someone at your work, and, you know,
you're it.
Give us a call back. And I'm like, what does this mean? And, you know, I ran it by everyone here at work, and they thought it was a good idea. And then it just turns into this whirlwind of just Cosmo craziness. I hadn't really read a lot of Cosmo magazines. I don't know if
Most
you read
guys
them.
don't, no.
But you see the headlines.
You do.
And it's like, you know, 612 ways to orgasm.
Yeah, and there's always what your man is thinking.
Yes.
Which is never accurate, you know.
So it was really, really fun experience. But, you know, after that phone call, it's like the next thing you know, you're on a beach with no shirt on and you're taking photos. And, you know, it was weird. And here's like a little tidbit for you. Everyone else did their photo shoot in LA or New York. And we could have flown there, but it just didn't work out with the timing. So I did it here. And those photos that you see in Cosmo.
Where was it?
At Edgewater Park. So here I am on like a July day, in the middle of the day in Edgewater Park, and I'm walking around with no shirt on being photographed.
That doesn't help your credibility when you're out on West 6, just so you know. If you got guys saying that,
yeah, but
that steps it up a little bit.
The positive of this is it was a long shot to win. There was 50 states plus DC, so 51 of us there. And the plus side is I said if I won, that I would donate the money to the Boys and Girls Club of Cleveland.
Which is awesome.
And even if I didn't win, we did a fundraiser the week before at Bartley House, and we raised thousands of dollars there as well. So then when they announced my name, I mean, A, I couldn't believe I won. B, I couldn't believe Ohio was going to win 2 years in a row. But, you know, most of all, it was $10,000 for the Boys and Girls Club. And it was so cool going down to the Boys and Girls Club the next week and presenting that check to them. And the smile on their faces was just unbelievable. And that's an organization we work with a lot here at the station. So it was great to be able to do that, and it worked out well for the station.
You see, that right there, certain people who are not watching this and will remain nameless because you've left Cleveland. There's a right way to raise money for the Boys and Girls Club, and there's a wrong way to raise money for the Boys and Girls Club. And I think we all know who I'm talking to right now. That's the right way to raise money for the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah, you just take your shirt off and go from there.
Yeah, but you don't say, I'm taking my talents. You take your talents to Edgewater Park Beach, not South Beach.
So it was a cool experience, but you know, the questions they ask you for that interview, they do like a 40-minute question or an interview, and
they have to be ridiculous.
Oh, they're so
cheesy
silly
stuff, right?
Yeah, like so when a girl doesn't wear underwear, is that sexy or skanky? And I'm like, are there any other options? Sexy or skanky? And I'm like, that's
maybe she's just out of
I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, sure. I mean, sometimes it's cool and sometimes it's not.
Right. Am I the only one who knows?
So
or does everybody know?
So you're okay with this? I'm like, yeah, it's fine. All right, so you think it's sexy? I'm like, well, I mean, sometimes it can be.
Right.
And then in the article, it's sexy. It's like, wow, now I look like this guy who doesn't want girls wearing underwear.
Right. Yeah.
Like, fine. You can wear underwear. I don't care what you know. If you want to wear it, you wear it. If you don't want to wear it, it's fine too.
I'm wearing underwear for this interview.
I might be.
Ladies, it's a thinker for you. We won't ruin that surprise. But so then you went. One of my favorite stories that came out of this though is you actually had an inmate email you.
Yeah. So they set up an email address. They set up an email address so that anyone reading the magazine or anyone seeing this online can send you an email.
Right.
And most of the emails, okay, here's the thing. Let's set this up here. If the role was reversed here, if this was like Maxim or FHM doing like the girl from Ohio, you know, like what, Hometown High, right? You just had one on the show.
Yeah.
I guarantee you she's getting tens of thousands of emails. Oh, very inappropriate emails.
All the time.
You know, I got like a couple hundred maybe. And yeah, one of them was like, I got an email from a woman who was in a penitentiary. And you can't see their email immediately because they're emailing you from there. You get an email that's like, this inmate, and it names their name, is interested in corresponding with you. Please respond to this email with yes or no.
Right.
I'm like, oh, that's pretty weird. I responded to everyone just to say, hey, thanks for writing me, thanks for taking the time, thanks for supporting Ohio, because most of the people that wrote were from Ohio.
Right.
I didn't write back to her.
Oh, no. She's going to find you.
Yeah, she might be out by now. This was last year, so she might be out by now.
She might find you, yeah.
The other thing that I think it's kind of unfair, like, here I am, you know, they know what I look like. And all these people are just writing like...
It is rough. They just write you.
Yeah, they're just writing like, hey, I liked the article about you. Write me back. And it's like, well, now I don't really have any incentive to write you back. It's not even the playing field here.
You know, and the girls always get, you know, an offer with it. You know, hey, let me take you out to dinner.
Yes, yeah.
All you got was, hey, great job, write me back.
Yeah.
So they want you to then still take them out.
Yes, yeah.
I don't know what happened. We're supposed to have equality in America, but apparently not when it comes to that. It's unfortunate. But the fact that you got an email from an inmate, that's almost like, I mean, I would hang it up at that point. You know what I mean? Like, call it a career. What more can you accomplish?
I should have kept a relationship going.
You really should have.
Conjugal visits.
Pen pals?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, it'd be pen pals in two different ways, because she's in the pen and she's writing with a pen.
Exactly. There you go.
The whole experience as a whole was awesome, and they were great, and you know, the whole thing was really good. And I'm glad that the money went to a good cause, because I don't know that happens often.
No, probably not.
And it's all been, you know, really good.
What about now? What if the same coworkers signed you up for like The Bachelor on ABC?
Well, the funny thing about being part of the Cosmo thing is it puts you into that.
You're in that world now.
Yeah. So when any show is looking for single guys or bachelor types, they now have a list of 51 guys who could potentially be interested.
Right.
So as soon as that was done, I got all these calls and emails about reality shows. And the thing that was really frustrating to me is they can read that I'm a TV host,
right,
and they can Google and see that I've been doing it, you know, since I graduated. And instead of me asking to host their show, which would be what I'd be perfectly qualified to do, they're asking me to be on the show.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was weird. Like, I want to host your show.
Did you ask them?
Yeah.
What they said? No.
They were like offended. There was one. I don't think the show ended up going anywhere, but it was like a cruise ship with singles on it, and you'd go on and single guys, single girls would go on. And
I think I saw a preview for that.
okay, maybe the show
Yeah.
is. I'm sorry.
No, I don't know that it went really anywhere.
So they're like, oh, give us a call. We're interested in speaking to you about this show. I thought, okay, great. So I call them up. I said, yeah, hey, I'm I'd be really interested in hosting this show. And they're like, he wants to host the show? Oh, I'm sorry, no. And here's I haven't told this to anyone else, but the Bachelor Canada just started out.
Yeah.
And I got a call that they wanted me to be the Bachelor, the actual guy.
Right. Yeah.
And I went through my agent with that, and I was like, let's see if I can host the show. And they're like, no, they already have a host.
Yeah, they're not going to give that up.
Yeah.
He's had that for a long time.
They had no interest in me hosting the show. But no, it was a brand new show. So I was like, well, I can be the brand new host. Great. No. So, yeah. I don't think I want to be on one of those shows.
You want to do it, huh?
Try to do it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, how's that working out for you? You had the Cosmo magazine.
Yeah.
Right? Did the dating game step up a little,
Well, I mean,
probably got a little more intense.
With the hours that we work here, and like, this job's awesome, but it's kind of, the hours are weird. On a normal day, it's 2:30 till about 11:30 at night.
Yeah.
And then some days you're staying earlier, and some days you're, staying later. It's really hard to say to a girl, I'd love to meet up with you. I'll pick you up at midnight on like a Tuesday night.
You can still get a drink.
Yeah, but most people that work normal jobs,
I know, yeah.
You can't be like, oh yeah, I'll pick you up at midnight and drop you off at 12:30,
right.
So you can get some sleep. Weekends would be fine, but a lot of weekends I'm traveling to do interviews, so it's been tough. You got to find someone who's willing to just deal with these crazy hours, because they're not really changing.
Or you got to meet a bartender.
Yes, yeah, bartender.
That's the other side.
Or I mean, I guess there's several jobs we could list off
sure.
here that you could, find someone.
Yeah, like a paramedic.
Yeah.
Or something.
Sure.
Whatever. That could be good, right?
Sure.
I don't know. Nurses just throwing ideas out there.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever you do, I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever you guys do, I don't know.
Fine. I mean, you can't. Yeah, it's tough. But you feel like. Are girls emailing you randomly? Are you getting Facebook messages because you were on Cosmo from girls outside of it now too?
Yeah, there were some. I
Yeah.
mean, that whole Cosmo thing that really died down a couple months after. I mean, still one of the top search results if someone were to Google me.
It says that.
But, that whole like, oh, weren't you that guy?
Are you glad it died down?
It was like really intense at first. It was cool though. It was a lot of fun.
That's something to say you did. We're part of.
But I don't know like that anyone is really just comfortable like in that element. Of, like, you're basically being told that, all right, you're going to be this guy. You're going to play this role. You're going to have no shirt on, and you're going to be our dating expert. And it's like, well, who's to say I know how to do anything?
Yeah.
It's just weird to be thrown into that role, and then for a month or two, that's really it. That's you're doing all these interviews, and you're trying to be like a relationship expert. It's like, I don't know.
I'm clearly in one.
Yeah,
like
sure.
I had success at it. That's why I'm the Bachelor of the Year.
Sure.
And not the married guy of the year.
Yeah. So I don't know. I wasn't glad that it died down. I'm glad it happened, and I'm glad that the money went to a good cause. And for the rest of my life, my kids, one day when I have them, will be like, "Daddy."
They Google you.
Yeah, wasn't that you? Yeah.
Why did you have to look like that?
Sorry, kids.
Well, before we get you out of here, because we know you've got work to do here today.
Once again, thank you for coming to our house.
Oh, absolutely.
I hope that you pipe in some laughter or some applause or something. How about right here?
That's what we usually do. But what's next? I mean, anything big coming up for you?
I got like some charity events coming up next month.
Cool.
There's an event at Beechwood Mall called Compassion for Fashion.
Okay.
And it raises money locally. It's basically me and some other people from radio stations and TV stations strutting your stuff on the catwalk. So that'll be fun. There's also an event in November called Take Steps to Fight Diabetes. It's like a local Dancing with the Stars. 2 years ago I actually danced in this, and this year I'm going to be emceeing it.
You see, you get to host.
Yeah, finally, don't have to be a contestant. No, so that's basically what's going on. And just trying to have fun.
Absolutely.
That was my goal ever since I was in college. I wanted to have fun every day at work, and I'm just trying to accomplish that every day. Well, I guess the biggest thing is we have a story about a UFC fighter named Stipe Miocic.
Okay.
And the story's airing this week because he fights on Saturday. He's undefeated UFC fighter, and he's fighting the main event on Saturday, and he actually has a legitimate shot of bringing a championship to Cleveland.
That's awesome.
So try to get people on board with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, we had the Miz bring the championship to Cleveland, but
Yeah.
he only gets a sort of pass.
Yeah, he gets the storyline championship.
Yeah.
This is like, you know,
This is a
actually
real deal.
beat some people up and won this.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, thanks again. Thanks for letting us come here. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
taking the time out
Cool.
and do the interview. Best of luck to you. You can watch Chris, of course, on The Buzz every weeknight on 19 Action News.
That's right. Steve.
It's a
Thank
pleasure,
you.
sir.
Thank you so much. Pleasure's all mine.
Back to the scene at the bar, you crazies.